Hello everyone, welcome to today's live video session. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am Kayalvari. I am an alum of PGPX program from IIMA. I have been helping aspirants go through their GMAT and MBA journey. So that's a bit about myself. I'll wait for a few more people to join. Meanwhile, I'll also talk about the other videos that I have been doing. There is a watch list full of videos, 10 videos that talk about various GMAT and MBA prep strategies. I also run a WhatsApp group for aspirants. I'll leave the link after the video comes to video sharing option. Cool. So let us start. What is today's video about? Today's video is about the application journey of R1 applicants. This is specifically for round 1 applicants that I started. So feel free to type in any questions you have about R1 application process, anything related to applications in the comment box below. I will answer them together. Before going there, you have a good GMAT score already, or you're assuming that you will end up with a good GMAT score. That is the stage that most of you are in. So what do you do next? The next thing that is primary to do is to get your resume ready. The points in applications that you have to mention in terms of extracurricular activities, your work accomplishments, how you want to word your work accomplishments in your application. So few things that I want to share as best practices when you write MBA applications is, many of us assume the resume for a job search and the resume for something like an MBA application is pretty much similar. But they're very different, majorly because for job, they really want to see how technically strong you have been, how good you have been functionally. But in an MBA application, more than that, organizations or institutions want to see how good you are with business. So any point that you mention in terms of your work experience, I would suggest quantify it in terms of the business impact that your work has had on the organization that you have been working for. So that is one point that I want to specifically focus on. Second thing, many people mistake thinking that GMAT is the major determinant of their success in getting into a B school. But most B schools think GMAT as one of the criterion to get into this B school. But there are other admission criteria like your UG score, and then your school scores maybe, and then what you have been doing at work, what kind of contribution you have made to the business you have been working for, or that you have been running, or if you have been working for a government or something, then what kind of impact have you had at work? What kind of extracurricular activities have you done? So why do they have to ask us all of these things, right? Is majorly to see, first point, will you withstand the academic rigor that the institute is going to put you through? Because you're going to get into an educational program after quite some time, right? So will you really go through that academic rigor and come out successful? That is one thing they really want to check from you. That is why they ask for your school, college, UG scores and your qualifying test like your GMAT or GRE. So if one of your previous scores like your school score or UG score is very low, don't worry about it. A good qualifying test score like GRE or GMAT score could be a very good indicator to say that you have really improved well in your academics and you can really, sail through whatever academic rigor that the institute will put you through. Apart from that, MBA does not only mean academics, right? It means that you exhibit some level of leadership. Leadership does not necessarily have to do anything with management. So if it is about leadership at multiple levels, how good are you to take up your responsibility, take initiatives and drive something? So those examples they want to see from your previous work experience. So these are things they are going to predominantly see in your application. when they look at your work experience, extracurriculars and accomplishments. So what to include in an extracurricular activity and what not to include? Please do not focus on very petty small things like you won a drawing competition when you were in your 8th standard. One, it is way too past. For example, if you're at least 27 or 26, if that is the minimum age with which you can apply to an executive 1-year program, right? So if you're 26 and you were 13 when you won the drawing competition, 13 years, I mean, it doesn't show anything in this 13 years, right? So that is one thing. And you haven't really achieved something significant 13 years ago also that you need to portray it. So I would say in extracurriculars, avoid mentioning something from too long ago in your life. And if there is anything like, very insignificant, then please do not mention those points. So this is all I had to tell you about the application process. The next part that I want to talk about is the essay writing part. So I have already done a video to say how to make or how to write an impactful SOP or an essay. So you can watch that video to know more about how you present yourself or how you convey your story through an essay. Okay. So in an application process, it means that you're going to write your details. Sometimes you think it's just a biodata they have asked me, what's the big deal? But how you word some of your contributions is a very important factor when it comes to an MBA application. So that is one. Essays are the second. And how you try to stand out among those so many applications every business school is getting, right? All of them have similar GMAT score like you, or at least close to. So how do you make an effort to stand out is another point that you need to keep in mind while you are applying. So these were some of the points I wanted to share in terms of how you go through your application journey. I will wait for a minute here. If you have any questions regarding the application process for round 1, I will take questions. Then I'll continue with some more points that I had to share. Okay. If there are not many questions, I will look at some of the pre-submitted questions I have, and then I will take those questions. Okay. One person has asked me, okay, what happens if I had applied in round 1? Can I reapply in round 2 or round 3? Yes, you can reapply in round 2 or round 3. I can say this at least with respect to IIMA. I'm not very sure of IIM B, C, and ISB. So that is one thing. The second thing people keep asking me about is, sorry, I'll just look up the question once again. Okay. So is there a bias between round 1, round 2, round 3? No, there is no bias. Round 1 is similar to round 2 or round 3, but only thing is you get a feeling that you have already gotten an admission before all the others have even started applying, and that gives you a lot of time to unwind yourself and break from your regular schedules to get into a B school, because this is a significant step in your career. So these were some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about the application process. If you need any help in reviewing your application or in terms of your essays, because if you have started applying for IIMB and IIMC and all that, then you may probably need some support in your essays, or you want me to, conduct some mock interviews, feel free to reach out to me. So that is one thing that I wanted to say. And I have a question here. Aren't there less seats available on round 2? More competition for less seats. Okay, maybe I'm not aware. I thought it was equal number of seats. I have to really check. Thank you, Samir, for bringing that up. I will check and let you know. But more competition for less seats, yes. it would be, because many people, we are inherently procrastinators, right? We keep kind of postponing things. Everyone wants to take the GMAT as late as possible. So many people will keep postponing it and probably apply in round 2 or round 3. Okay, that was your assumption. Fine. I am not 100% sure of whether it is equal number of seats, but we can check the website, and probably I'll update in the comments sometime later. But yeah, more competition would be okay. That also, I'm slightly skeptical, because people from last year or the year before, where they had already taken the GMAT or GRE tests and probably tried once, will retry in round 1 only, right? So, or if they had applied to universities abroad last time, and this time they might think that they want to apply to universities in India. So that could be, one of the reasons why there will be more applicants in round 1, and in round 2 maybe less number of applicants, or in round 2 procrastinators, most of us. So I think it will be somehow balanced, but from an institute standpoint, they are not biased against any of these. I think they'll have a fair balancing mechanism, not to give any undue advantage to one round applicants. So that is it. And if it would help some of you who are thinking round 2 is bad, I applied through round 2 the year before last, and I got through without much of a difficulty. So it is not that round 2 is bad, but if you can do, please focus on round 1, because if you apply now, there is another possibility that you can reapply in round 2 or round 3 if something has gone wrong in your application, or if the day was really bad for you. So that happened to me with IIM Calcutta. My IIM Calcutta interview went really bad because it was not just my day. Something I didn't really do well. I did well in Ahmedabad's interview and Bangalore's interview, that I was very sure that I'll get an admission in both. But Calcutta's interview was very bad. So it could just be that it's not just your day. So if something like that happens, you will have another chance to apply in round 2 or round 3. That is the only advantage I would like you to think about when you are applying. And if you can really do it to round 1, I would say focus on round 1. Okay. So any other questions from anyone else who is watching? Okay. So many people also ask me this question. What if I don't have an extraordinary extracurricular track record? Or, what if I don't have, a very good UG score, school score? So these are things that generally people, keep asking me about. See, let us talk about things totally under your control. You can really control your qualifying test score and writing the application in a way that it really conveys impact. So if you had not scored well in your 10th standard, you can't go back and change it now. So don't worry about it. See how you can justify it, or, in your other processes. Okay, so I am getting a few more questions here. Okay, little less relevant. Would GRE be a good pick? Okay, so again, the institute says they don't have any bias towards the qualifying test score. They're okay with GRE and GMAT alike. But I want you to think, if you already have a very good GRE score, which is equivalent to a 700 in GMAT, then I would say don't sweat and take GMAT again. That score should be sufficient for an application. But if you think you have a very less GRE score or something, then I would say focus, and if you're going to anyways take another exam, then I think you can take either GRE or GMAT. It shouldn't be a big problem. Okay. So the next question, scholarships for round 1 or round 2? IMA doesn't have application scholarships as such. IMB has, and I think their scholarships are also uniform across. I'm not very sure about this. We can check IMB's official site. Their scholarship, but I know for a fact that there is scholarship in round 2. So that is one thing that I'm sure of. But IMA does not have admission scholarship either in round 1 or round 2. But they have merit scholarship for someone faring very well in academics during the course of the program. Okay, the next question I have is I work in back office so my work doesn't impact the business much. How do I make my application stronger? Okay, so many of us work in such roles, okay? But there is a reason why the business has hired you. I don't really understand what you mean by back office, but if you are still working, then it means that you're contributing to business. Otherwise, why will a company pay for your job? So it is only a matter of how you communicate that impact. You may not directly be able to give numbers, but how can you make it worthwhile is by talking about how your back office work will impact anything that is happening in the organization. So if you really want a specific way to approach this, please feel free to reach me out individually. We'll take up your particular case, discuss what your story is, and probably come up with a way on how you should position yourself in the application process. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so if there are any questions, again, thank you for watching, thank you for joining this. I will Okay, so I will do another session maybe sometime very close to R1 deadlines. I understand most of the people have been procrastinating their application process because most have not given their GMAT already or taken the GMAT already. So people are kind of skeptical, and many people will actually take the GMAT towards end of July or early August. So I'll probably do another session in the middle of August. Till then, all the best with your preparation and application. Finish your application process as soon as possible. Don't keep it till the end last date, because you people who already are ready to apply in round 1, at least do the process early, so that others, if even if they rush in the last moment, it doesn't disturb you anyway. Yeah, so that's it. We'll wind this session up. Thank you very much.